Good morning, friends. This morning, quote is more than a gigantic pool of knowledge, a teacher should have a kind heart to facilitate the learning environment. I repeat, this morning quote is more than a gigantic pool of knowledge, a teacher should have a kind heart to facilitate the learning environment. Friends, there is no denying the heart, there is no denying the fact that a teacher should have a kind heart. He must be empathetic. He must be kind and compassionate rather than only having a pool of knowledge. Well, being knowledgeable is good. If you are knowledgeable, you are an asset to the society. But more than that, what the learners need is your kind heart, a soft approach. You should have soft skills, you should have empathy, you should have consideration more than knowledge. While a vast pool of knowledge is vital for any educator, but a kind heart truly activates the learning environment. It is the kind heart of the educator that really facilitates and fosters learning environment. When educators lead with empathy and compassion, they transform the entire classroom into a safe space. Students feel safe and secure in that learning environment. They transform the classroom into a safe space, and students also learn best when they feel emotionally secured and supported, allowing curiosity and personal growth to flourish. Friends, we have seen the educators being little bit strict and little bit harsh to their learners. Then what happens that if there is no friendly environment, if there is no empathetic environment, the students always have fear in their mind that the educators might punish for any mistake. That is the reason why the outcome of the learning is always minimal in such an environment. The time has changed now. The learners are full of knowledge, they have curiosity, they are able to assess knowledge from different sources. So, more than knowledge, what is important for an educator is to provide a safe learning environment and foster learning ability to the children and allow them freedom to express themselves. The impact of a kind heart in education is very much paramount. It fosters emotional safety. An emotionally secure student is more willing to take risks, ask questions, and make mistakes without fear of judgment. That is very important. The children must not have any fear of any judgment or any fear of punishment in the classroom. They should feel that they are at home, and they should always have freedom in their mind to express themselves and to put questions to the educators without any fear. And emotional securance, very important. So the kind-hearted educators always foster emotional security to the children, and that is the reason why the children are more willing to ask questions without any fear and without any hesitation. It also builds trust and connection. It is very important that educators should build a good connection with their learners. There should be a good bonding. The well-known educational adage rings true. Students don't care how much you know until they know how you can make them learn. How you can make them learn. I repeat, the true students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. How much you care is more important, how much you know is less important. Trust bridges the gap between the curriculum and the learner. This is the new educational policy. There should be no gap between the curriculum and the learner. Curriculum, learner should be a part of curriculum. Learner should be a part of learning scenario. Learner should be a part of learning teaching scenario. Learners should participate maximum inspiring lifelong learning. Content can be forgotten. We, the student, the learners, we all forget the content. It is of little importance. But the emotional impact of a supportive educator stays with the student forever. When a teacher believes in their students, the students start believing in themselves. It is a reciprocative. When a teacher believes in his learners, the learners start believing in him, and that is the learning environment required for a better outcome of the learning. A better outcome of the learning is possible only when there is a trust between the learner and the educators. Most of the time we see that the children have a fear in their mind that will get punished when we'll put question. So the curiosity of the child is lessened. But when you are encouraging the children to ask questions without any fear, this will foster a good learning environment. And this is important in the new educational scenario, that we must give freedom to the children. They must feel secured while they are sitting in the classroom, interacting among themselves, freely expressing their thoughts and desire, freely interacting among themselves, collaborating their thoughts and ideas among themselves. That is more, congenial environment for learning. It is not important how knowledgeable you are. You may have a pool of knowledge, it doesn't matter. Knowledgeable people are good to the society, but they may not be good to the learners unless and until they have empathy, consideration, they have sensitivity, they have understanding to know the child better. There should be a good bonding between the child and the educator, the learner and the educator, and the gap between the curriculum and the student should be minimal. The less gap is between curriculum and the learner, the better will be the learning environment. So friends, it is very important to be empathetic, kind and considerate and compassionate to your learners. Build a trust in them. They will also build a trust in you. And if there is a kind of trust in one another, the learning environment will be very congenial. It will foster all kinds of learning possibilities, and maximum outcome of learning can be seen in such an environment. That is what Edison believes. Thank you. Have a nice morning.